book. So let's see.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Thanks. You
Hello.
just and chilly. I'm not ready for winter yet.
Oh my word, we don't really have winter. We need to speak to some of our American friends. In fact, ask Laura. She really knows what winter is. Ask her.
It's still cold.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's still cold.
And we're in the middle of April.
Yep. I went to the UK last week and the temperature was in the minuses. And we are not used to that. So you can just imagine what we felt like, freezing our butts off. It was not nice. But it was nice to see you, Laura. Okay, everybody, while we're waiting for everybody to log on, go into the chat box, please, everybody. Your name, what country you're from, and also our check-in word. What is your check-in word to our session today? And the check-in word really is 1 or 2 words to describe how you are feeling right now. And that's quite great for us to be able to connect, whether you're anxious or cold, I suppose, is what Tiffany might put on there. Let's see what happens. So Nungo is coming in from Limpopo in South Africa. Hi, Nungo. And what is your check-in word? Tiffany from South Africa. Larika from Limpopo, and she's excited. Amy, amazing to have you back from Illinois. Her check-in word today is optimistic and excited. Divine. Okay, Laura from Scotland is very focused and I'm sure freezing. And Kim from Johannesburg, she's inspired. Oh, good. Shani from Charlotte, so excited to hear Carol speak. Divine. Andrea, good morning. Andrea from New Jersey, feeling optimistic. Beautiful. Anna from South Africa, she's determined. Great. Tiffany said she's freezing, but motivated and focused. Love it. Nungo says she's surviving. Okay, Nungo, we need to change that word from surviving to thriving. You know how I feel about that word, surviving. Don't really like it, hey? So we need to work on how we're going to change that word. Dominique from Northwest, feeling positive. Divine. Sue from Arizona, feeling focused. You're looking very focused, Sue, so that's good. That's very good. That's awesome. Okay, so we have more people who's joined us. Everyone, your welcome word, your check-in word, where you're from, and your name, just so that we can all get a bit of an idea about how everybody's feeling today. Let's see. Lanil, you've joined us, and Joy, you've joined us. Give us your check-in word, how you're feeling today. And then we're going to get started with this most exciting session that we have today. Okay, so Lanil says excited. Lanil, where are you? I can never keep up. Chicago, where are you at the moment? Last week you were in some other special place, who knows? Tell us where you are. Okay, Chicago. Okay, divine. Okay, Lisa is from Johannesburg in South Africa and she's intrigued. Okay, goody. That's lovely. All righty. Any more check-in words, everybody? Give us your check-in words, where you're from. And then we'll hand over. Okay, Karen says KZN rained out. So she literally really is rained out. Something has happened in that area. I mean, the whole of South Africa, there's been a lot of rain, but there's severe flooding in KZN. So we are praying for them because there's bridges that have collapsed. There's kids that have been caught in houses that have flooded. They're reporting a couple of deaths already, which is a little bit disturbing. So we really do have everybody that is in KZN in our prayers. Yeah, it is awful, Laura. It really is quite sad what's happening. So Shani's asking me what my check-in word is, putting me on the spot. My check-in word is I'm feeling a little bit anxious today. So hopefully after the session, maybe connecting with all of you, I feel a bit calmer. Suppose it could be a combination of what's happening in Durban and the news that I've been hearing, and things that are going on with my dad in Spain and things like that. So I'm feeling a little bit anxious, but I'm so looking forward to. I'm going to park my anxiousness right now, because when Carol said that she'd chat to us about this particular topic, and for those of you who know me, I am super passionate about marketing and sales, both of them. I eat, live, breathe both of those words in my life. So I was super excited about this topic. So before I hand over to Carol, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then maybe Carol, you can elaborate. So I'll just do a bit of an intro. So we have Carol Stratford today. Carol, what area in the US are you from actually, or where are you right now?
Where I am right now, I live in Louisville, Kentucky, in horse country.
Divine. Okay, so she's coming to us from Kentucky. And I'll tell you a little bit about Carol's dynamic career in strategic marketing and public relations has allowed her to develop a widely recognized expertise in hospitality and wellness. She is a true leader in her field, known for analyzing trends and forecasting sales to develop long-term strategies, key objectives, and operational execution plans based on business best practices. She has achieved record-breaking increases in profits and brand awareness for her clients through her experience beyond marketing and public relations in customer service training, project management, e-commerce, relationship building, administration, and business development. Because Carol began in public relations and then moved into marketing, I love this, she has a rare ability to understand the perception of a brand in the marketplace. And she has used her unique vision to help develop and deploy innovative marketing plans for some of the most successful brands in the industry. And here's some of these interesting names, including Marriott, KSL brands such as Miraval and the Homestead, Four Seasons, Casa de Campo, Six Flags, and many, many more. So that's like a super exciting little intro. And we're going to hand over to you. We're so excited, and thank you. I know how busy you are for taking the time to help us build up our industry and the Spa Professionals Guild community. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you, and thank you for the warm welcome and the lovely introduction. It's nice to meet all of you. I see at least one person I know, Sue, and I work together at Miraval, so some of this will be interesting to Sue. She'll see some examples from when we worked at Miraval together. I've been in the industry for over 25 years now, and I'm extremely passionate about marketing and how marketing really helps set up your business to succeed. I've been doing talks on marketing more and more lately, as I find business leaders have really embraced the importance of it, especially post-COVID, and how to take your brand back out there to market. I am a partner at Hutchinson Consulting. We really have three separate buckets to our business. We have been known for recruiting in the wellness and spa industry for many, many years. And when Michael Tompkins and I partnered and took over Hutchinson Consulting, we basically expanded our business and provided more of a 360 approach for you. And we do recruiting, marketing support, and development. So we are working on a number of new spas and also refreshing spa and wellness centers really around the globe. One of our most recent ones right now is we're building a brand new spa and wellness center at Casa de Campo in the Dominican Republic from the ground up. And that'll include everything from working with the architects to branding to naming to program development, partner development, and really started on that early this year, and that'll be opening up at the end of this year. So we're super excited, but that just shows our 360 approach. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully you all will be able to see it.
Perfect. Yeah, to be coming up already. Yes.
Great.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm going to skip over a little bit about me because that introduction was lovely. Hutchinson Consulting, just as I mentioned, a little thing, some of the things that we do here: branding and marketing, design and development, concept and point of view development, programming, human resource support and recruitment, operational implementation, training, and ongoing operational support. So as I mentioned, that those are the different facets of what we do. And what we're going to cover today is really, I know social media is the main focus, but I can't really talk about social media without giving a nod to branding. It's so important that you have that in order before you begin any marketing outreach. So we're going to talk a little bit about branding, some social media trends, general social media tips, Facebook tips, Instagram tips, key takeaways, and then I'll leave a little bit of time for Q&A. The reason we're just going to focus on Facebook and Instagram is I could talk for hours on just those. So I can't cover every social media outlet, but I will give you some general overview. Okay. So again, the first thing we're going to talk about is branding. And this is something I am super passionate about. And I've been so fortunate to brand some of the most unique and wonderful properties and spas across the globe. And why is, really why is it so important, and what is a brand? A brand is really the perception that a customer has when they hear or think about your company name. So it's more than, a lot of people, when I start talking to spas or wellness centers, they say, oh yeah, we have a great logo. Well, branding is so much more than just a good logo. Good branding includes how you're going to talk about it, the look and feel of your materials, what is the personality of your brand, and it helps really increase the value of a business. So it'll help you acquire the right customers, not just new ones. Okay. And whenever I start a project with a company, one of the things that I do is a brand platform. And while this may look very easy, it's really difficult and it takes the most concentration. But at the end of the day, if you do this and you do this right, you can have this brand for years. So we do a competitive context. What do you look like against your comp set? Who is your real target audience or audiences? Some spas may have membership audience and they may have a local audience, or they may have a resort audience. What are your unique selling propositions? What are the 3 things that are going to set you apart from your comp set? Okay, and those are usually done in the order of importance. And then what is your positioning statement? How does that all boil into one statement? And what are those supporting points of that statement? We also do your brand personality, and we talk about your tone of voice. And why is this important? Again, it can help your business create a clear message. It'll help you stand out from your comp set or your competitors. And let's say that you work with a vendor, like a marketing agency or a branding agency. It can help, or maybe it's a label company or a spa product brand that you're bringing in. It can help other vendors ramp up very quickly to understand your brand. So this book is what I call your marketing Bible. Okay. So this might look familiar. When I was at Miraval several years ago, I think this still really holds true, and that's why I wanted to show it. We did a positioning statement for Miraval, and here it is really quickly. Miraval upholds a powerfully simple vision. Life is more meaningful and enjoyable when one's physical, emotional, spiritual, social, and intellectual components are in balance. Miraval offers guests deep comfort, a feeling of care and luxury beyond and found nowhere else. Miraval creates an authentic environment with abundant choices of fusion spa treatments, mindful activities, healthful cuisine, and relaxation experiences. Our dedication to mindfulness permeates our resort culture, attracting some of the world's finest specialists. Miraval's commitment to the environment is reflected in our sustainable design ethic and best practices. So this is really our positioning statement for Miraval, and it's still relevant today. And one of the case histories I'm going to talk about is Miraval. And when I got there, really, how is your brand perceived in the context of your competition? When I got to Miraval, our challenge was, how do we set apart from our competition, the Canyon Ranches of the world, which was either medically focused, maybe, or spa focused, or strict on exercise, which was Canyon Ranch at the time. Our solution was to bring back the updated version of the branding that set the property apart in the first place. They didn't let the brand get boring. So what I say here is, as soon as marketing people get bored with what their photos look like or their messaging is exactly when the time that the customer is finally getting it. So a lot of people throw the baby out with the bathwater too soon, and they don't let you get bored with it. So some of the things we did were, this was when I first got there, this was the current ad, and the headline and visuals don't highlight what's unique about a Miraval. It didn't tell us what was important, and they had a very confusing tagline. It was, you won't find yourself and you won't find you anywhere else. You had to really think about that. When we got there, I brought back life and balance. That's what Miraval is about. So I returned to the life and balance message and tagline. You can see very simple here. It's mend and transcend. That was about bringing your life back in balance. That was me as a young mom 8 years ago. So really, again, going back to what it was about. You can just see a little example here. Another client that I work with is LaFleur Skincare, and really wanted to make, does your brand creative, what it looks like and feels like, does it make you look unique? And the challenge here was, how do we make a brand stand out in a very crowded market? There's a new skincare line every day. Our solution was to highlight the primary unique benefits of the probiotic formula that they were doing. And how we did this creatively was, here's the original concept of the logos that they were using. We took it and we made it, this is the logo we ended up with. It's an abstract graphic, which is based on the ideas of the layers of the skin and the protective shields, right? To position the brand as an upscale, we went with a metallic silver effect. So our tagline was advanced science, authentic beauty. And we really tied in what their positioning was. So that's a little bit of a background. That's my 5 minutes on branding, and I could go on. I could have a whole 2 hours on just branding alone, but I wanted you to understand what the importance is and how important it is before you share your brand with the world, that it's in order. The same thing is true with your website. Your website now is your #1 asset. So really, before you even start putting out some social media, make sure your website is in order. The branding must match both your website and your social media channels. So in order to have you start at the top again, your brand platform, or at the bottom really, the platform of your branding done right, your look, your feel, your messaging, then developing your website so it's in working order. And then once you have your brand defined and your website is on target, it's time to focus on social media marketing. And these are just a couple of websites where really I feel the key message, the look and feel showcase what their brand is about. And first I want to talk about some of the trends we're seeing in 2022. And I think that these will help you kind of prioritize some of the social media marketing that you might do. So the most active time of day for social media users worldwide is 11 a.m. 73% of businesses experience increased success in reaching campaign goals when Instagram stories are incorporated. That's new stories. So 73%. The average American spends about 2 hours each day scrolling through social media platforms. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm on a boring conference call and I'll find myself scrolling. Don't tell anybody. You guys might be doing that right now. Anyway, 71% of consumers who have had a positive experience with brand through their social media channels are more likely to buy and recommend the brand to others. And then 68% of adults in the US reportedly use Facebook every day, as the third quarter of 2020, making it the market leader of social media platforms. I know everybody says, well, there's all these new great things. Facebook is still the leader, okay? And I know that there's different spas and different wellness centers have different targets, but this kind of shows you 90% of millennials use social media, 75% of Gen X, 48% of baby boomers, so still a lot of usage. And it's important to note that 91% of social media users access their account through their mobile devices. That makes total sense to me. So here's a tip about really knowing your audiences. So not all social media platforms are created equal. And it's really great. It's really going back to that brand platform. You need to know who your target audience is. Remember, it's quality over quantity. So you don't have to be on every platform, just where your audience is. You want to go where your audience is. I know some of you might be thinking, I need to be on TikTok, and maybe it might be true for you, but again, make sure it's the right audience for your brand. So here is just some numbers for you. Facebook demographics and usage, number of monthly active users, 2.9 billion. It's the largest age group is 25 to 34. The gender's mostly male. I can't believe that, 43% female. The time spent per day is 33 minutes. So somebody on average is spending more or less than 33 minutes. And it still remains the largest social platform among consumers and marketers for marketing. So Instagram, a number of active users is 2 billion. The largest age group there is 25 to 34. 18 to 24 is a closely behind. So if you have a little bit of a younger market, this might be good. The gender's pretty split. Time spent is 29 minutes. And Instagram maintains a firm hold on Gen Z and millennials. So these group makes up roughly 2/3 of their base. So if those are your target, this is where you need to be. And I wanted to give you this too, just because of TikTok being so popular and people talking about it. It's quickly risen. There's a 1 billion users a month now, but their largest age group, 25%, is 10 to 19. I know my son, who's 11, spends a ton of time. The gender is 61% female, 39% male. And they spend a long time, 89 minutes per day. I guess the 10 to 19 have that time to spare that we don't. So that's just kind of giving you an overall, who is the target, what are some trends, and now we're going to talk specifically about, how do you go about building a good social media program? I like to do it in content pillars. So sometimes we call them themes, or you may say buckets. Content pillars are 3 or 4 topics that your social media content should focus on. Each of your posts should focus on one of the content pillars to stay relevant to your audience. For example, if you were a skincare brand, your pillars might be products, how-tos or tips, customer reviews, and ingredient highlights. If you're a spa, it might be treatment overview, staff highlight, and specials, okay? So, you can sit down and really think about that. And as you try to develop content, they should fall under one of those 3 or 4 pillars. Another tip I can offer is planning your social media content for the month. Using a content calendar can really be a game changer or help relieve some of that stress on deciding last minute what to post. Oh gosh, I haven't done anything this week. Let's get something out. And then you end up with non-relevant content or subpar content. So once you decide on your content pillars, plan out how many posts per week you'd like to share. I like to use the 4 E's when talking about social media. They should entertain, educate, engage, and evaluate. And base your strategy and content around these things. And also I preach the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your content should be entertaining and educational, and 20% only should be promotional. So I know a lot of spas, it's tempting to go out there and just do a promotion. Every post you do, save 20% off of Botox, say buy one, get one free service. Try to educate to get more engagement from your followers and stay away from only doing promotional posts. And then don't forget to always put a call to action in your captions to increase engagement. And it doesn't mean, buy now or purchase now or book now. Examples could be follow the link in bio, save this to post, share the word, spread the word, tag a friend. Those are call to actions, and they should always be part of your content. So there are tools for planning. These are several options that I really like: Sprout Social, CoSchedule, Feedly. These are great tools to plan out a monthly calendar. And this will automate it for you. You go in there, you put your content in, and it'll automate for you. Obviously, things happen, things pop up, and that's fine, and you can fill in when those things come up last minute, but it's good to have this solid base of a calendar set up for you. I'm going to talk about search engine optimization and the importance for social media. So use key terms in your page, account names, captions, image descriptions, and hashtags to extend your reach. Many platforms are beginning to utilize features based on SEO best practices. So if you use these key terms, it's going to ensure that your page account is seen by who you want to see, who you want them to see. So what's the difference between a search term and a keyword? So a search term is a word or a set of words a person enters when searching Google. So best spa near me. A keyword is a word or set of words that Google Ads advertisers can add to a given group so that you're adding those 2 words. So what are some search terms for spa? Massages near me, facials near me, luxury nails, Medi Spa near me. Those are things that people are searching every day, and the volume for those are going to be huge. The next tip I'm going to talk about is around hashtags. So with the implementation of SEO practices on social media platforms, hashtags aren't as important as they used to be, but they're still relevant. And it doesn't hurt to include them on the platforms that you use them. So they're mostly prominent on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The #1 rule of hashtags is quality over quantity. You don't want to come across as spammy and include popular hashtags that aren't relevant to your brand. You won't get the followers you're looking for. So make sure you really pay attention to the ones that will help you turn that into a sale or a conversion. You can find the best hashtags for your use by searching each platform specifically, monitoring your competitors. What are they using? And then there's special things or special platforms where you can find out what are some of the best hashtags for your business, and that's Flick or daily purposes. Here are some examples that you might use: skincare, relax, massage therapy, self-care, sauna. But again, it needs to be relative to your brand. So just throwing something in there random is not going to help get the followers or get people to join. And then the next thing I want to talk about is engagement. So be social on your social media. It's good for your clients to know that you're, or your followers to know that you're engaging with them, but it's also good for Google, like who's looking at that. So make sure you allocate a little bit of time commenting, liking, and messaging before and after your post. So like I try to go in and, spend maybe 15 minutes in the morning commenting on other people's posts or reposting or sharing or gaining like followers, following and liking, then they're likely to follow you. And then make sure that once you do post, you wait a little bit of time and you go in and you are commenting and, to the people who are commenting to you. So when someone gets a notification that you commented, like them or message them, they're more likely to click on your page and see your new post. So it's just kind of a quid pro quo. If you're going on and liking, they're likely to go back and do the same for you. So what are some steps for responding to positive comments and thanking the consumer for a positive review? Be specific and genuine. So be specific, don't just say thanks. Use the business name and keywords in the response, because that's, again, going to give you some more traction. Google's going to search that and find that it's relevant. Add a little marketing to the review response. Invite the consumer to do something with your response. Like, great, I'm so glad that you loved our massage. Make sure you check back for our specials in next month, or, come try this facial or something. So give them a little marketing. It's a great, while somebody's already thinking about your brand, it's a great way for you to go back and kind of get them re-engaged. Oh, there we go. And so now I'm specifically going to talk a little bit about Instagram and give you a couple quick tips. So your bio, does your bio paint a good picture of what you do? Your profile should begin with an action statement. For example, we help design, train, create, plus a description of who you work with, women or men, the result they would be looking for, who desire to take control of their health, who need to relax and rejuvenate. So again, we help women who need to relax and rejuvenate do something, right? Instead of, think of it as very conversational. If you were going to, what's your little elevator speech? If you were going to meet somebody, you wouldn't just go to them, I'm Carol, a traveler, sandy beaches, but whatever. You would tell them, I am a marketer who enjoys helping other businesses build their brands, or something like that. Make sure that you have a URL. It's the one place you can drive followers and potential clients to convert into a customer. So you can use the last line of your bio to direct people to your URL, but it needs to be enticing. For example, you could offer a free download or tips. Sign up for free tips, go to our bio. Here's an example of one I work with here in Louisville at the Click Beauty Boutique. This is their, the world is yours to conquer. We help you look gorgeous doing it. And so, they're very good at call to action, book your appointment or shop our products. And for branding for Instagram, make sure that that you show your personality, yet you maintain your brand. Stick with your brand's colors, your themes, your fonts. If your logo is purple, try to stick with that purple theme background in your photos. Having people recognize your post before seeing it is from you is when you know you've done a good job. So just looking at it, glancing at, not seeing your logo, but they know just by looking at it, it's your brand. I mean, I think places like The Gap do a great job of that. So check out their Instagram feed. Transparency, be authentic. Instagram is known for being the platform where everybody looks their best, but people love seeing the raw, real life pictures they can relate to. Stories is a great way to post casual, off the cuff content that shows a little bit more about your brand. So here again is a video actually Click Boutique did with one of their staff members showing you how to use their new mascara. And the video was just shot with an iPhone, but it still was done in their location. I know just looking at that was done at Click Boutique. And for Facebook, Facebook is really about community. It's there to provide you with a sense of community. Use your Facebook group to discuss new products, give sneak peeks, maybe an upcoming event that they're invited to. I would say post at least 3 to 4 times a week, ask questions, go live. Really, again, it's about community, so make sure you're engaging. One quick tip I will give you, your pinned post is your first post and it'll stay there. So when you get to your Facebook page, if somebody's going there for the first time, that's the first post. So make sure it's a good one. That's a great spot to utilize any URL you want to drive people to. So maybe it's, learn about X spa, right? This is just one Facebook post that I like. Do you crave long, fluttery eyelashes? Here's an article. So they're sharing some educational things, but they're also making sure their taglines in there. Beauty is our business. So I'm going to give you just a couple final thoughts. So social media should not be your entire marketing plan. I was just here to talk about social media, so that's what I focused on along with the branding, because I can't ever not talk about branding. It should, however, not be an afterthought in your marketing plan. So both organic and one thing we didn't talk about is paid social media marketing should be an integral part of your business plan, but it should not be the entire plan. Remember, it's about quality over quantity. Be authentic in your content creation and share content that both entertains and educates, that resonates with your audience and sets you apart from the comp set. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, there are experts out there who can help you with this social media. So that's something that, that's out there. If you feel a little bit overwhelmed because you're focused on operating the business, that's very understandable. So that's definitely something you can do. I also wanted to include some resources for you. These are blogs and newsletters that I frequent and just might be helpful for you to keep up to date on trends, social media, and they're changing every day. I mean, look at now Instagram is offering e-commerce opportunities and just understanding what's happening in the ones that you're in and the new ones that are coming on board. These are great, I found, informative blogs to read. And that is my presentation, but I do want to leave it open for sharing our questions.
That was absolutely amazing, Carol. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
I've got some questions, but let's see if anybody else has any questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Now's your time. You can unmute and ask, or you can go into the chat box. Oh, Carol, you mentioned a site that has a very good Instagram feed, and it sounded like you said The Gap. Is that correct, or did?
Yeah, I really like The Gap's Instagram feed. So if you go there, you can kind of look at how all of the the feed, it looks like if you just glanced at it, you would know that it was that brand. I think they do a really great job on their social media.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. That sounds amazing.
I have a question.
Yes, who's
if I
that?
may. It's Shani. Sorry, my camera's not on.
No problem.
Carol, you know, there's this constant debate about how often and how much you should be posting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, you know, the one thing that I will say is, again, it's about quality over quantity, but I would say you need to be at least, you know, posting 2 to 3 times a week. I know some places post 2 to 3 times a day, but in order to stay relevant and stay engaged with your client, you know, your customers, I would say at least 2 to 3 times a week with meaningful content. And they can be edited a little bit for both Instagram and Facebook. So you're not having to develop 2 separate kind of programs for each.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's also a question by Lanil who says, what is the perception by a client if you have a very active social media platforms but no website?
I understand a lot of spas have this. I would really highly recommend developing even a simple website. They're not as expensive as they used to be to develop, but it's also going to benefit you from a SEO perspective and people finding you on Google Maps. The website is just so critical these days. So it's terrific that you have an active social media account, but I do feel like you need that support, a place to, you know, drive people to, and even, you know, a place to have blogs. It just really helps from so many different directions.
Okay, so your answer is you must have a website finished.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
there we go. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Then we have another question here. Besides social media, where else do you recommend advertising a skin and hair salon?
So great question. I would say digital is it. I would make sure that you are doing a very regional geo-targeted digital ad campaign. So again, important to have a website so that when you're doing digital media, you can drive them to that website to book for conversions. So it doesn't have to cost a ton of money. Again, you can do it through Facebook ads, you can do it through PPC. Also make sure that your Google My Business is set up correctly. A lot of people miss that, and that's where you show up on Google Maps when somebody's putting in looking for, you know, directions to a hair salon near me, closest hair salon to me. You need to show up and you need to make sure that your Google My Business is on target.
I was just about to say that Google My Business, good golly, Miss Molly, it's so powerful.
So powerful, and people forget, but hey, Google owns the search world, so you need to be on that. You need to claim that. And I would just make sure you go in there and you make sure that you own that. Like some people don't even claim their business profile. It's crazy to me, but true.
So we have coming up in one of our up and coming newsletters that we send out business tips every week, but we've got a Google My Business little workshop that was presented by a specialist who actually does that. He spends his whole life on Google. So everybody who's on this call can look out for it. It is coming up in one of our weekly business tips. But when I sat through that little workshop with him, I was amazed at how much business you can drive simply through Google, actually.
Yes, totally.
Lanil is saying she sees that there's a function to link Instagram and Facebook. I've heard a lot of people say about that. So she's saying, is it recommended or should you post differently for both platforms?
No, I think that it's sometimes okay to share the same content, but really, they're two different kind of platforms. One is really more visually focused and one is more community focused. So I think it's okay on certain things to share. Let's say you have an event coming up, you could share that on both. But let's say you have a really great article to share, you might just share it on Facebook, and then you might highlight one tip from that article in a nice Instagram caption. So using the same content, but the look and feel might be differently.
Okay, that's actually very interesting. I like that a lot. So same post, you want to get across the same message, but you're just making them appeal.
Yeah, there's different sizes. So yes, that's correct. The Instagram is more visual, and then Facebook is much more about community and keeping them like informed. So there's different sizes for images for Instagram than there is for Facebook. So that makes a difference as well. So, you know, I know that businesses do it because it's easy to link them, but I prefer to make sure that, you know, that you're using the right content, the right, for the right audience on each of those.
Divine. Carol, you had, I don't know if anybody's got any other questions, please unmute or go into the chat box. I'm going to ask a question now. You had mentioned earlier that there's an image that you must choose a good one because that's the one that stays up.
That's right. That is your post. That is on Facebook. That is your pinned post. So your very first post on there, you can go and pin it. Or whatever post you want to pin will always show up in your feed first.
Okay, so what I was going to ask is what happens if your first one is not great and you want to change it? Is it as simple?
Yeah, it's whatever one you pin. So it could be your 17th post that you decide to pin. It'll go up to the top and stay there.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that sounds amazing. Okay, great. Okay, anybody have any other questions?
Did you already read Morelli's question or did I miss it?
My release, yes, we have read it. Yes, yes.
Clearly, I wasn't paying attention.
No, you read. That's where Carol said Google My Business, and also to do a regional geo-targeted digital campaign. So that's quite interesting. Carol, are you saying then, because I want to see if you and I are thinking the same way, that things like newspapers and local school pamphlet handing out and things like that are a bit of Noah's Ark, and we need to change the tactic?
Yeah, I think so. You know, when I would say 80% of your budget should be spent on digital, whether that's ensuring you have good content on your website, good content on your social, digital marketing. It's much more of a targeted approach because digital marketing, they have so much information on who you're reaching. It could be much more of a laser focused approach versus just a shotgun approach and hoping to reach the right people. So to me, that makes the most sense.
Love it. And then, I mean, Carol, do you have a percentage of revenue that you could recommend or say to the audience that they should be using as marketing spend?
Yeah, I like to say about 10% of your revenue should be spent on driving new business marketing. That doesn't include staff.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? We've got Carol for a few more minutes. Lanil, you had your hand up. Was there anything you wanted to ask, or is it answered for you?
Yes, it was answered, although there's one quick other question I had. Carol, what is your feeling about LinkedIn linked to Facebook? Like if you have like your, I always saw Facebook as more my sort of friends and family community one, and LinkedIn I felt was more my professional, my own branding, what I do. But so many of my colleagues and clients are on Facebook, and so they find you on Facebook, and then you become friends on Facebook, end up doing business on Facebook, and then the line between the professional and the family and communities becomes a bit more blurry.
Right. One thing you can do is to obviously have a business Facebook page. And I would drive anybody there who's kind of your friend through your business, make sure that make sure you follow our X Spa Facebook page where you're going to learn all of our, relevant information. I am probably guilty of being friends with a lot of my clients now. So I do try to watch what I post on Facebook, but I'm not, but I also encourage them I share a lot of my clients in like posts so they see that I'm sharing. And I also then, will recommend them go to certain websites and our certain Facebook business profiles to follow as well.
Okay, thanks. That makes sense, because you want them to see who you are as a person. Like it's good to have that personal connection with someone, but also it's like someone can tag you in something, or, Facebook seems very easily hacked. And suddenly there's something strange that shouldn't be there, whereas LinkedIn just seems a lot more solid. It just seems more like, you can't be misunderstood as easily,
Yeah, I think in our business especially, Facebook seems, it's such a friendly, hospitable industry, right? So of course you're building these relationships, so it feels a bit natural. And LinkedIn may be strictly professional. So I feel like there's a lot to be gained by being friendly with those through Facebook.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add to that before we read Laura's question, is one of the things that I found and I teach our community is that people and clients like to engage with real people. So I'm a little bit like you, Carol. I've got most of my Facebook friends are my clients, but they absolutely love to see that I am a real person, and they love to see my children, and that's how they engage with me. And they develop almost relationships with me on Facebook. It's quite bizarre, actually.
Yeah, and I use a certain skincare brand. I can't tell you how many people have asked me, what skincare do you use? It's amazing, like whatever. And so I've definitely sold some products for people as well through that. It builds trust, right? They see you, they know it's authentic and you're real.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so Laura's saying in the chat box that she read an article last week on the fact that digital marketing is now more expensive than ever due to bigger business adopting digital. And it was suggested that traditional avenues would be good to use in the mix. Do you agree with this? And she also then says, or can you tailor your audience and show content to only a subsection of your personal feed?
You can go in and choose who's going to see some of your content. Know that Facebook, not everybody sees all your content anyway, because I think it's like 20-some%. Yes, you can go in and tailor that. Going back to your first question, the reason it's so expensive is because it works. So all the companies are now moving towards digital. I did just read an article today about about digital marketing that has also incorporated some direct mail to it, to a very targeted group. So you can be very specific and direct mail the people that you are reaching digitally. So backed up with a direct mail that they're seeing an increase in conversions. It's an expensive proposition to to try to, so I'm going to wait and see what more research shows. I just feel like, especially in our business, we have such a limited amount of dollars to really make it go far. I feel like digital is the way to go.
Okay, that sounds amazing. And then Dominique is asking, do you have a professional page?
Yes.
Other than the Hutchinson page, can you maybe put that in the chat box?
It's just on Hutchinson. I don't have a professional, but you're welcome to follow my personal page. I can put that in there. You'll see loads of photos of my doodles and my son, but I also do talk about different products now and then. So
awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, that sounds amazing. Does anybody else have any questions, or can we do our checkout word, see how everybody is feeling? And once again, Carol, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We really value you giving up this time to uplift our industry, because together we're all going to grow, right? Okay, everyone, let's go in and put your checkout word. Shani says inspired. Andrea saying thank you. Sue says inspired. Lanil says felt like a 5-minute presentation. Awesome. Amy feels informed. And Kobile says inspired. Lovely. Well done for jumping on, Kobile. Andrea says inspirational. Beautiful. Tiffany says informed. Dominique inspired, uplifted from Karen. Okay, so I mean, that's just brilliant. Patricia says well informed.
Fantastic, great. Well, I've enjoyed it too. It felt like 5 minutes to me too, so it was perfect.
Yes, okay, divine. So Carol, we'll keep in touch with you. Thank you so much. And everybody from Spark Professionals Guild, have the most beautiful day if it's the morning for you, and the most gorgeous evening if it's evening time for you. And we'll catch you again soon. Okay. Cheers,
Thank you,
everybody.
Marisa. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.